First Alert update, the Oshkosh Area School Board will post a notice next week that it's accepting proposals for a new banking partner. Some school board members are upset over how the district's newly hired assistant superintendent was treated while attempting to cash his very first paycheck back in July with Associated Bank. Dr. Sam Coleman says he was turned away at the counter with no explanation while attempting to cash that check at the Associated Bank branch on West 20th Avenue in Oshkosh, the same bank the check is drawn on. Bank officials would later admit in a conversation Coleman recorded they violated their own policy in not cashing the check, and at no time the bank attempted to ask for ID or verify the check with the school district. Coleman believes his race might have been a factor. School district officials say their account at Associated Bank is worth more than $250 million.
What happened to Dr. Coleman at Associated Bank is inexcusable, and I just want to go on record as saying that that is in fact the reason why I suggested that we switch banks.
The district will accept banking proposals through January 12th with a vote expected in February. Associated Bank has declined to comment on any of the allegations made by Coleman.